Hi guys.
Hey guys.
Welcome back to the C-Word Chronicles podcast.
Welcome back.
Guys, if you're going to, if I'm going to look straight to the camera, if you're going to watch any of our episodes, you better watch this one. This one's the one.
This one's the one to watch.
But first, let's get into it. Oh, I'm your host, Olivia.
And I'm your co-host, Ribu Thomas. I got called Rashid the other day, by the way.
Again? I know you said it in a couple episodes ago.
I went through a whole phase where anytime I would answer the phone at work, they'd be like, yes, ma'am. I don't know if I sound female. Do I have a feminine voice?
Yeah, but you talked about this already.
No, but they did it again.
They did it again, huh?
Yeah.
Speaking of your voice, which I don't know if we talked about already, it has changed or it's gone back to normal.
I finally hit puberty.
Like,
balls have dropped.
For some reason, I was like editing an old episode right when you got on your Keytruda and Lenvima, the first thing of chemo. And your voice was so different. No, it was so high.
Yeah.
It was so high and squeaky and raspy.
Yeah.
And now it's like back to
normal. Now I hit puberty.
I feel like we talked about this already too.
No, we didn't. We didn't talk about my voice yet.
Okay. But it sounds back to normal.
I'm back to normal. This is my real voice, guys.
What hat do you have on today?
The D-Town Dallas Mavericks, the best basketball team.
Funny story about that is I remember that hat because you had it in PT school. And I remember we were at a bar.
What's this hat?
Wurzbach Ice House.
Yeah.
And I was with like my friends or whatever. And then
Me and Chris rolled up.
You rolled up with that hat on backwards. I was like, who the fuck is that? I was like, is that Ribu?
You know, you don't think indie people are athletic, as we noticed from the last episode, or good looking. That's me.
No, I just knew you were good looking. You just looked a little fine on that one. Anyways, let's get into it. Senora vibes, immaculate as always.
Wait, have they ever been not immaculate?
They have, because I've had either issues with the weather being too damn hot, or I've had issues with the...
Well, the humidity you said this morning wasn't.
The humidity is just a little aggressive.
Humid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One day, this past week, it felt very fall-like.
Well, breathe through my pants.
Yep. And it was so breezy. And it's so funny because we'll go outside and play like in the morning with Gigi, and it was very windy. And he's never like really experienced wind. So he just stands there and looks at the trees and he just goes for the wind. And it's funny. And then one time it was really, really windy. Yeah. Like it was about to storm.
And I threw him outside. No, just kidding.
And he was like that, like, oh my God. And then it got windy. It kind of kicked him back a little bit. And then he grabbed onto his head like this. Yeah. And then he went back inside. So Senora vibes are good. I've been watching him a little bit more during the weekdays. My mom has been coming a little bit later in the day. So we have a nice morning together. And then because she would come early and I would just like get to work. Yeah. But this past week, she's been coming a little bit later and I've had to, I got to spend time with him in the morning and it's so cute. And he's getting so big.
Yeah. Yeah.
How's the sports update?
Week 2 didn't go great in daily fantasy sports.
Just get into it.
And you know what?
I don't want to talk about it.
Let me say this. Week 2 wasn't because I picked the wrong players. I just picked the wrong quarterback. I went with Joe Burrow because he had a great matchup against the Ravens secondary that I didn't think would be as good. He didn't perform. The Bengals haven't performed this year. They're 0-2. And so I'm not going back to Joe Burrow. He has had a calf injury, but I'm not going to go back to Joe Burrow until he proves himself. And I think they will probably week 3, but dude, I would like, and on top of that, I had the perfect lineup to win probably a lot of money because it's still cashed. But Anthony Richardson, the quarterback, got hurt. In the first quarter, he already got 17
Everybody's getting hurt.
There are a lot of injuries this year, and especially the running back. In the running back market, they're asking for more money right now, which you know about, right?
They didn't tell me.
So, yeah, they're asking for more money, but they're not really valued like they used to back in the day. And they're all getting hurt because, So. Wow.
I remember Aaron Rodgers. Like,
you remember him?
Got injured the first play of the first game.
And supposedly he had some Achilles surgery that's like, he's already weight bearing. Supposedly he's already
he tore his Achilles. That's right.
Yeah. He's already weight bearing right now.
Crazy. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people are getting hurt.
Yeah, there's a lot of injuries.
Let us know in the comments. Is your kid in football? Are you going to put your kid in football? I'm trepidatious about that.
I would put Juji in flag football.
Yeah, but what if he wants to play in high school? I feel like
if Juji was a quarterback, only. Well, quarterbacks get hurt too. But if Juji was a good quarterback, if he's gonna, the doctor said Julian's gonna be 6'6".
He's still
and they stood by that.
Every time.
Yeah, he's like
he is really tall.
He's really tall for his age already.
We were at the park and he was playing with a bunch of 2-year-olds, 2.5-year-olds, and he literally was taller than them.
Looking over them, and so if he's like 6'6", he's gonna.
That's a good
athletic.
height for a quarterback.
Yeah, that's a solid height.
John, how tall are you? 6'4", 6'5"? So our son that tall.
Can you imagine it?
I can't imagine.
I'll still whoop his ass though.
I can't. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, what do you
feed a tall person?
I don't know. Like, so much.
Hey, he said feed him hay.
I can do that.
Hey, I can do that too. Yeah.
Like, John, when did you get tall?
Oh, you've always been big?
Yeah. Like,
Have you seen Julian recently? Yeah.
He's freaking tall. I'm like, what are we going to do when you're like 13 and hungry and growing?
Me and him hungry at the same
and like
time?
smelly. I just always feel like they're so smelly at that age, especially if they like play outside and stuff.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait.
Yeah, but apparently he's going to be big, but I still don't want him in football. I don't want him being like tackled all the time.
But flag football's fine.
Flag football's fine, but we got to work on it. If quarterback is the only one I would feel comfortable him being. So we gotta work on that.
Yeah. That arm. Or basketball.
Of course, basketball.
Or golf. Honestly, if I was
Let's get him in golf.
Like, be great at golf.
Yeah.
Because like
that's where the money's at.
You can play that sport forever.
Yeah.
And you can have such an easy swing where you don't have to get injured. You know what I mean? Just be, just.
Yeah. Are there a lot of injuries in golf?
It depends on your swing. So like Tiger Woods had a beautiful swing when he was younger.
Yeah.
But it did cause a lot of tour. But he took his body in a different direction, so it did cause injuries.
With the drugs?
No, with just the way he was training, because he was so good, and then he started getting into military style training.
Oh, really?
And a lot of that supposedly contributed to the way his mechanics changed and just knee, back injuries and stuff like that.
I feel like that golf swing can be a little bit straining on the low back.
And your recovery,
the L4, L5, if I will.
And the PGA Tour is not an easy tour to be on. You play literally, you can play every week and you don't have an off season really.
And which is like, everybody's going to be like, well, yeah, Olivia, it's not that hard. But don't they walk all the holes? They don't have a little golf cart?
They walk.
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah. But it's non-contact.
Yeah, it's good. Great scholarship opportunities.
I mean, you don't ever hear of like, other than Tiger Woods, you don't ever hear of horrible injuries.
No. No concussion.
Yeah. Like a wrist.
Issues. Yeah.
Or like Bryson DeChambeau ran into a rope and he was like, ah. He was like, ah. Like, look at the video, guys. Bryson DeChambeau rope. That's probably the worst of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good
He went down like this. He's like, ah. That's the most contact.
That's a good point. Yeah, I would feel comfortable with him in that. Yeah. Tennis.
If he became a golf star, I think I would be the most happy.
More than basketball?
Yeah, because like I feel like golf is it's like the hardest sport to play.
Golf is really hard.
That's why I love it.
Really freaking hard. I get now why golf is so addicting.
Yeah.
Like, would you say it's more addicting than other sports to get out there and play?
I feel like it is because it's so individualized. Like, you're the only reason you're not doing it.
Yeah, you're playing against yourself.
Can't blame anybody else. Your shot sucks because you suck.
Yeah.
Right? So
I think there's people like you who like to improve so much. And then I think people who don't like get very frustrated with it and they just give up on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an intense sport. It's hard. It's hard.
I love it.
Yeah.
I go every morning. Well, not every morning. I've been going at like mornings at 6:45 once or twice a week.
To the driving range?
Yeah, early morning sunrise.
Get out there on the green. My sanctuary.
My sanctuary. Just hit a couple balls. I'm feeling good out there.
That's nice. Once the weather, Senora vibes.
Yeah.
Once the weather gets better, that'll be like a beautiful thing.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Did we do both? Yeah. Let's get into the peaks and pits. So let me preface, we have a mutual peak. If you're only watching this episode because I told you to in the beginning, if you're going to watch only one, let's do a quick recap, 30 seconds or less leading up. We'll do a countdown and then we'll say it. So just a quick story of what we've been going through. Ribu was diagnosed with Graves' disease, had a tumor growing on his neck, got that tumor removed, started a type of chemo, the cancer didn't respond as well.
It spread.
And it spread to some other spots. So how long has it been since we started the other one?
August 4th.
August 4th, we started a more specific targeted therapy to the gene that has the cancer in Ribu. And that has been a 3-week infusion.
We've been having some liver stuff.
Because of the chemo, the pemetrexed, and the Lorbrena, the daily pill that he has to take, it's been setting off his liver enzymes to where they're really, really elevated.
But no acute liver injury.
No sign, and he's feeling fine. No signs of liver damage or injury. He, his brother, myself, our whole family, our whole village, our whole team has been fighting these doctors to stay on top of Ribu's care.
Yeah.
Stay on top of it. Last week, he got in a little bit of a heated conversation along with Ruben with one of his doctors, because one of his doctors said, stop taking the pill, because that's what they think is elevating the liver enzymes.
Turns out it wasn't.
Ribu and Ruben and myself knew that it's not that pill that's making his liver enzymes go crazy. It's the pemetrexed, the infusion, the actual chemo, right? So Ribu stuck to his guns and continued taking the pill.
We all did. We all stuck to our guns.
We all stuck to our guns. We all fought. We fought very hard. And then we went to Wednesday night. We went up to Houston to MD Anderson.
And on the drive, we were talking about
life. I know what you're saying. On the drive, we were talking about the scans that he's going to get Thursday. Mm-hmm. The scans were going to show a make or break. If something has spread, he had to get a PET scan, which is every 3 months?
I don't know.
6 weeks, whatever. So he had to get all these imagings and we were talking about how well he's feeling, but he was feeling well last time, and the images showed that shit spread all over, right?
Not all over,
but it spread. Yeah. So, we were having a lot of heart-to-heart conversations. We were both really nervous. We were both talking about, staying positive. We went in there saying, I'm going to record everything, because every time we leave MD Anderson with all of these doctors, we are always like, wait, what did she say? We forget. So I don't know why I just now decided to start recording all of our appointments. We had a plan. We're going in there. We got a Chick-fil-A sandwich. Highly recommend the honey pimento Chick-fil-A sandwich. Mm-hmm. We were prepared to go in there. And on Thursday we met, we got blood work. We went and got your CAT scan, and turns out, ready?
Yeah.
The motherfucker shrunk.
Yay. So we got some reduction in
babe, I'm already crying. I don't give a shit. It all shrunk.
We went into the appointment with the first doctor, which is we got there's 2 doctors on it now. And one of them is managing the infusion. And we went into the appointment, and I didn't expect anything. I was just kind of going in. They usually don't tell me results right away. They'll kind of mention a little bit, but we went in and she was talking to me, and then she was like, we're seeing reduction. And she was excited. She's like, we're seeing it. She pulled up. So she said, we're seeing reduction. And I was like, what? I was like, do you really see something? She's like, yeah. She's like, we're seeing what you're doing is working in your lungs. I was like, fuck. I was like, really? I was like, can you tell me more? And she was like, yeah, come pull the chair around. And she pulls it up, and I see this email between the doctors that's like, this is a very rare case, seeing this kind of reduction. Because remember, the drugs I'm taking is not well studied in thyroid.
Yeah.
It's amazingly studied in lung cancers for my genetic mutation. So she's like, this is not well studied, blah, 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 this, that, this. She pulls up my scans, and you see on one side of the screen my old CT scan, and you see on the right side of the screen the scan I just got. And while she's scrolling, you can see images scrolling at the same time, mirroring, my lungs from
August
8/4 to 9 a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, you see here from 8/4, this cancer spot, it's not here anymore.
Yeah.
You see this big old thing. There was probably something this big in my lung. You see how small it is now?
Yeah.
You see this spot on my left lung? It's not here anymore. And we were like, fuck. We were like, are you serious? Like,
yeah.
She's like, congratulations. She's like, this is big news.
Yeah.
She's like, and I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Like, what can you say that is not like,
I think we were both like,
we didn't expect that. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what we expected.
Well, I don't think we expected it from that doctor. So this doctor is the doctor who manages the pemetrexed, which is a chemo. And his other main doctor doesn't deal with that type of chemo in lungs. So she's more like a lung chest type doctor. So I don't think I think we were expecting more so a conversation about the pemetrexed and how we need to reduce, or what are we going to do? Because that's what's causing your liver enzymes to elevate. So she literally came in. She was like, oh, I forgot my stethoscope. I'll be right back. So we're like, oh, okay. She came back in and she was like, I just got the scans. Great news. And we were like, what?
Yeah.
And you were like, wait, what? And they shrunk. And we're like, wait, what? And then you're like, can you tell me more? And I have it all on video.
Yeah.
Because remember, I was going to record everything so we could reflect back on when, like, if we had questions, because in the past, we have never left MD Anderson with a win.
Every time we've gone in, it's been like, this is bad, or this is, we'll see how this goes. Or never been like, fuck, what, optimistic or hopeful. I guess. But so she said that.
And I think we were both like, oh, okay. We were still very much in shock,
Yeah.
And she took us through everything.
She showed us those images, and it's like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I was telling Liv this, I was like, the feeling of like something shrinking. Like, the joy is weird because it's like, it's not like a game. Like, you don't do anything physically. Like, it's not like I'm here like physically fighting.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's not like the joy of winning a game, but it's like the joy that you have life.
It's better. It's bigger than any joy we've experienced.
Like, what higher experience can you have of like thinking, okay, I have a chance of living.
Yeah.
And so like, we can keep going on with the day, but
Yeah. So it was an amazing appointment.
Yeah.
Would you say? Like, just amazing.
Yeah.
She was thorough. She was like,
she did great.
This is great. This is great news. She's like, I don't have because we were getting a PET scan, but we were getting it later in the day. So she's like, I don't have that. And I don't have your neck. I just have your lung scan. But typically, if this is looking good.
She said the bones around my lungs have been healing.
That one got me. So I don't know why that one
Well, that one was tough because the lungs were getting better, which is huge.
Yeah.
Hugely significant because it's showing that the tumors are responding to the drug that's attacking it. We talked about last time, how it is attacking it, or a couple episodes ago. But supposedly bones are harder to treat because they're harder to penetrate with certain drugs. And so when I asked her, I was like, anything about the bones? And she said, yeah, like, because I do have some spots on my ribs. And she was like, yep, they're showing sclerotic healing, which, right?
Sclerotic orthosclerosis, which had we read that and didn't know, I think that would have been a scary term. But she's like, no, that just means they're
that
healing.
That signifies healing, as a result of chemo.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, man.
So it's like, okay, so that's responding too. And it's like, okay, like, I'm like, And so it's like, and so, I don't know what to say. It was just,
we're going to be a little like all over the place this episode and a little speechless and lost for words just because it's, what is it, Saturday right now? And we Thursday got that news. So it's been a whirlwind of a time, but so she was like, congratulations. They're going to reduce the pemetrexed a little bit, which she's like, it's very common for the liver enzymes to go up with that. So we're going to just reduce it a little bit. We'll see how you do. You're going to continue every 3 weeks. You're going to continue getting your labs, and we'll just monitor. But this is a great sign. And this is only two doses of this. So, you can presume that it's going to continue doing very well.
Yeah.
And he responded well quickly.
Yeah.
And so, and then, she's fabulous. I love her.
She's been good the 2 times we've seen her.
Really great. And she had just a bunch of information. She took the time to go through everything. It shows images. And that's the first time we've actually seen your images. I've never seen it. We had never seen it.
I've never seen how a tumor looks like on a CT scan.
Yes.
Or a cancer looks like.
She pulled it up, and I'm so glad she specified, because and I have it, maybe I'll post it. I don't know. But she pulled up the lungs, August and September's. And, it's contrast. So it's black or white. And there was a bunch of white dots everywhere. And I was like, oh my God, was that all the cancer? And she's like, no, that's the alveoli. That's the bronchioles. That's air. That's blah, blah, blah. So she had this, I was like, oh, thank God. Mm-hmm. So when she showed us the cancer in August's images compared to September, she was like, look, this whole area is gone. Yeah. Like this, because you can go anterior, you can go more in and get different angles and stuff. And she was like, look, this is all gone. Or look how much smaller this looks. And you can physically see it. Yeah. That was so fucking surreal.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was the most surreal thing I think I've ever experienced, aside from maybe giving birth. But
it's so real. It's like
what? And then it's in him, really on the image, I'm like, in your lungs. And so she was great. And then so she ended the appointment. She's like, I'll see you whenever. She kept saying congratulations. And we haven't heard congratulations
since this whole thing started.
So, the fact that she kept saying congratulations, I was like, oh my God, it just cemented the fact that this is a big deal. Yeah. And so she left, and because I was trying not to cry the whole time, I didn't want to break down in front of her, because I wanted her to not focus on consoling me and get to the, the stuff. And I think we both your reaction, you were like, let's fucking go.
Yeah, I was like, let's go.
Yeah. And I mean, you are you just won the game. And I just was I could not stop crying. It was a mess.
I mean, it's like I said, it's, I don't know what, I mean, literally it's like this. I remember before this appointment, I was playing outside with Juji. I think you went to dinner with Veronica, and I was playing outside with them. I was like, man, this sucks. You're playing outside with them, and it's like, fuck, do I have a chance to live,
Yeah.
But then, getting good results, it's like That's probably never cried on this podcast before, but it's maybe you
want a tissue?
Maybe I do. Maybe I have a chance to it's it's hopeful,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was such good news because. Yeah.
So that was great. So I got great news, and it's man, fuck yeah.
Yeah. And then we were like, okay, well, now we have to go, do other. I think we had to get. What do we have to do after?
Meet the other doctor.
Meet the other doctor, and then we were like, do we call your parents now or we wait? And so we waited till we met.
Because we wanted the full story.
Other doctors, so we got the so we could. So it was solidified. So we were just sitting in some hallway, just bawling, how we are now, even more so, just in shock, because we really didn't think it was gonna.
Well, I think we thought. I
just didn't think we thought at that timing with that doctor we were gonna we were not prepared to hear that news, So it's just very shocking, and you're almost just in shock, what did we just hear, And so we took a lot of time and I think we prayed, and then, well, you were so hungry. You had to stay fasted.
The way they scheduled my shit was
at 4 o'clock. So you had to stay fasted that whole day.
I said this in the last episode. You gotta advocate for your shit. These motherfuckers scheduled my CT scan. They forgot to schedule stuff that was important. So I had to remind them. only way they can put it together was like hours apart because they scheduled shit last second. So I had to fast the whole day. But whatever, fuck it.
Yeah, he was like, I don't give a shit. Yeah, like it literally anything. I was hungry as fuck, but whatever. Anything that happened after that, we were like, you can't tell me nothing. You can't like no bad news.
Like I went to my next appointment. I'm just gonna jump to it. I went to my next appointment and motherfuckers try to bring me down again. I said absolutely not. I was like, this. We went to my next appointment. This motherfucking nurse practitioner didn't read shit in my chart. I know she didn't read shit. Cause she went in and you could tell she was looking for the first time in my chart. And she was like, oh, she's like, okay, we're going to stop this. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. She literally, I was like, you are worthless. You amount to nothing.
Yeah. I was like, just going off.
You need to leave right now.
She's like, you're stable. And I was like,
no, she was like, me and the doctor, we didn't see any improvement. Nothing growing though. So that's good. And you were like, we just got off a meeting with this doctor who said, congratulations, there's shrink. There's things that are gone. No. She was like, oh, well, you'll have to ask the doctor. And I'm like, let me ask the motherfucking doctor.
She said exactly what you said. And I was like, read the scan. It literally says right there, improvement.
She's like,
whatever. Like, whatever. And then fucking leaves like, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
why would you do that? Fucking hot.
Like, why would you like try to bring me down as if I'm not doing better? It says right there I'm doing better, and you're showing me I'm doing better.
And then Ribu, there was like an issue.
She's just salty as fuck, dude.
She literally is worthless.
She like didn't want me to do better.
If you're watching, you're worthless. Yeah. You're worthless. Don't come back to this appointment unless you want to die.
Freaking MP.
So this is not his doctor, but this is her nurse practitioner. I don't know why she comes and just like feels on my neck like this. Ribu's
like piano scales on my neck. Fucking do shit.
So there was an issue with the dexamethasone. He has to take 3 days consecutively after he gets his infusion, right? It's 6 pills because it's twice a day. And so they have to give it to him every time. This boy has been asking for it
because I'm out
since last week. Because of course he's out. So that was like the straw that broke the camel's back with this bitch, this nurse practitioner, because she's like on her computer. Right. And then she's like, I see you don't have dexamethasone. Why? He was like, excuse me, ho? What do you mean? Why? I've been asking you
for weeks. I've been messaging you for weeks.
Like Ribu literally went off like, this is inappropriate. I don't think this is right. Like I've been asking blah, blah, blah. I'm so frustrated. Like he was frustrated. And I was sitting there like, yeah, I am too, ho. Like come at me. Yeah. Like I'm ready. We're ready, bitch.
Yeah, I was like.
And so then she was so nervous to look at us.
She did not look at us.
Typing on the computer and she's like.
Yeah. Like she was telling, like you guys, you don't understand. She's telling me things I'm not an MP.
She is worthless.
I'm not fucking dumb though. She's telling me things that are completely medically wrong.
Yeah.
That like I know my brother knows, that doctors know about certain lab values and why they are the way they are. And I'm like, what? I was like, no. And she's like, yeah. That's the way. I was like, you don't know what how are you treting people right now?
And so Ribu like is literally like getting after her, and he's like, why? Tell me why. I think he was like, tell me why.
Tell me why you think that,
right? And so she literally goes silent, and she just is typing on her computer, and then she just turns around. She's like, I'm gonna check your neck now, and like just completely ignores the question. Washes her hands I could tell, I was looking at her. She was like washing her hands like, oh my God. Yeah. And I was like, wash it, ho. Wash your hands.
Yeah, don't give me an infection with those infected
wash your fucking hands.
Yeah.
And so she's washing her hands for like 5 minutes because she's just like nervous.
I'm like, avoiding. Don't be coming at me right now.
Don't come at me right now. And
trying to bring down our joy.
She like checks Ribu like you're supposed to check her neck. She literally goes like this. Checks the neck. And she's like, the doctor will be right with you. Yeah. And like she leaves. I'm like, get the fuck out. Get out.
And leave.
Then leave.
Yeah.
And so I said, no, ma'am.
We're happy right now.
I said, no, ma'am. You can't bring down our joy. No, ma'am. Yeah. Get the fuck out.
She didn't read any of my stuff.
Sorry for all the cussing. I should have prefaced.
She didn't read any of my stuff. Yeah.
She didn't read anything. She
just came there and looked at it for the first time.
With her stupid ass. Like, I was so
Why is she wearing a scarf?
I don't know. And so, then the doctor comes in, and there was probably like 5 minutes between, and me and Rib are like, no one's stealing our joy. Yeah. I'm like, No one, I'm like, I have proof. I have video recordings of the previous doctor saying, congratulations, showing us the side-by-side scans. I said, not today. Not today. No. So I push record again because I wanted to record her. I think I have the NP recording too.
Yeah.
Maybe not. And she comes in and I'm like, watch what you say, ho. You better watch what you fucking say. You better
match what the other doctor said.
I'm like, you better match. How y'all could be completely different. Better match that energy. Yeah. If not, you're out. Yeah. And so she came in and she was like, la, la, la. And I'm like, where's this going? Yeah. And she's like, so we looked at your scans. And we're like, She's like, we see a little improvement. Literally like a little improvement. And we're like, yeah. And she's like, yeah, so that's good. And we're like, yeah, that's fucking great. Like we just got a whole fucking party with the other doctor.
Yeah.
And then she was like, there's this one on your lung, obviously, like this one big one that hasn't gone down in size. And we're like, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Fucking liar. And so then Rib was like, really? The other doctor said that shrunk.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't think it shrunk. And then somehow Ribu she was like, I can print out
let me preface this to this point. We're so skeptical of what this department that we're at right now, the doctor's saying, because she hasn't been thorough
at all
from day one. Like she's probably
This is the doctor who said, stop taking your medicine if your neck feels stable.
She's probably saying what she's saying because she's hearing a report from a report and probably is just summarizing things she's seen real quick and running through patients. So we trust the other doctor because number one, we trust the first doctor we saw today because number one, she showed us the actual scans, went through each tumor and each cancer cell on that scan to show how it's disappeared or went away. She showed us the report. She showed us the email this doctor sent to her, right? And so now we're at the second doctor and she's saying it's improved. She's like, we think this is, stable. So yeah, keep going.
So then she was like, so Rib was like, oh, we just met with Dr. S and she said it shrunk. And she goes, oh, okay. Yeah. And then I think I was like, and y'all had an email chain together.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, yeah. Yeah. So she's like coming to.
She's like now. Remembering like, now. Oh, yeah.
Come to. And I think both of us looked at her like, you better get your shit together right now. And so then she was like, well, I can release the images to you on my chart. And releasing on my chart takes her to push a button.
Like for instance, they said they were released on my chart. I just got it.
Yeah.
Like probably.
So she's like, I can either print it or release it to my chart. And Rip is like, go print it.
Yeah.
Go physically, go push print, go get it. We'll wait. She's like, where? He's like, we'll wait. So she's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll go get it. Like kind of sweating a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, go get it. Yeah. Go get it. Cause you're not going to release it. You're going to forget to release the damn images, whatever. And so Ribu, so she comes back with a physical paper of the impressions of this scan.
The full report.
From a radiologist who this is what the radiologist specializes in, is reading scans and then writing up what they're seeing. So Ribu is like, let's read it together. Like he's like, go ahead and read it.
Yeah.
Right. So the impression, she's like, yeah, see, okay, orthosclerotic, that means bone healing. We're like, yeah, we know. And then, healing, we know. And then she's like, so that's good. She's like, oh, and then some reduction, And then the overall impression was improvement.
Yeah.
I can't remember the terms. I should have brought it. Like overall improvement in this cancer, whatever. And then she was like, oh, look, they have the measurements of all the tumors. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay. That one's gone. That one's reduced. And this is the one she was talking about, this big one. She's like, that hasn't changed.
At first she said this one. So the first doctor showed us on the scan that this one went from this size to this size. Yeah. She walked into the appointment saying
she's like, it is pretty much the same. Yeah. I think it's the same.
Now we're looking at the report.
Now we're looking at literal numbers.
Yeah.
So she's like, yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what hasn't changed. And then she reads it went from 28.1 centimeter or 28.1 millimeters in September. And now it's at 21. Oh.
She's like, it has reduced.
It has reduced. That's great.
She's like, but I think I'm more right than this.
Yeah, she was like, but I still don't. And I'm like, bitch, those are numbers. Like, how can you argue? That's significant.
We're like, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck you, hoe, get the fuck out. And
whatever. Like, we're improving.
Yeah, and so she was like, oh yeah. And then I think eventually we just wanted her to say something. We were kind of baiting her to say something positive.
Yeah.
And she finally did. She's like, this is good. Yeah. This is good. And it wasn't as congratulatory as the other one, but I was like, whatever, we'll take it.
I feel like we took like a negative turn in this podcast, but like we're just hating on him because it's like we improved and we're like taking away our joy. But.
Yeah, you took it away, but no. And she was pleased. She was pleased, and she was like, "Yeah, it's only 2 rounds. It should be continue to shrink or reduce or whatever, or just stay stable." And there were, a little bit less of the pemetrexid should help with your liver enzymes, blah, 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 all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So we leave that and we're still feeling pretty freaking good.
I mean, what can you say? Like, it's like.
We were just literally like shaking our head all day. Like I can't believe it.
It's not even like, so like, yeah, like I said earlier, like it's so hard to describe the feeling of like hope you get, right? Like we talked about last episode. I was reading a patient's chart and just seeing how it looks so similar, and it's like, okay, like I'm doing this for a reason, and and then feeling like, okay, I got better, makes it feel like God does have a plan for me. Not saying I ever doubted it, but and then not only that, but we got to call my brother first, and share those results with him immediately. Yeah, and like
he was so
just
overjoyed.
Like the amount, as the person going through cancer, sometimes you only think about yourself and, the amount you go through, or the amount my brother goes through, or Tina, or my mom, my dad, Tiju, Tiff, like it. And that's just a few people like Subin, Noel, Chris, Jared, like all these people who, think about me on occasion or will text me, and the opportunity I have to tell them
some good news.
And like, so calling my brother right away and telling him like, hey, like this, like the ecstatic and the joy. And it's like,
I think for him too, it felt good, probably because y'all are validated in being right the whole time medically.
That plays a role too.
Because remember, you were directed to stop taking the pill. Mm-hmm. Had you stopped taking the pill, I don't think the scans would have showed reduction.
It would have been like a whole week
it would have been
over a week without the pill.
Right. And so God knows what would have shown up on the scans. So I think for Ruben, and I'm don't mean to put words in his mouth, but I think I'm sure he was like, hell yeah, I was fucking right. And me and Ribu were right. And we like advocated for this.
Yeah, I mean, that too, but it's about the healing.
The healing and then his brother obviously getting better, which is what it is. But I think there was just so much in that we just needed that win. Yeah.
And like being able to come back and tell my parents, who come every time to San Antonio to help us, so that we're okay when we go to when we go to Houston, right? Like the effort they take to come and take the time to watch Juji, like just to being able to come back and tell them, or tell your mom, who put so much time in to help us every day. And then like, being able to tell my friends and all these people who, I mean, remember guys, when I started this treatment, for instance, my friends here, when I started this treatment, I lost fantasy football. We talked about fantasy football, how much it means. I lost it. I was like 3rd or 4th place, and these guys banded together to give me all the winnings to help pay for something. And these are the same people I can tell now, hey guys, thank you. Like you guys, you know what I mean? I'm doing better. Yeah. Like it's such a weird feeling and such a joyful feeling. Like you get to tell all these people who support you. I know. And telling John.
Yeah, I was just going to say, telling John, he was like, this is like Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's surreal. And so we FaceTime. So then we had to go get your chemo, your infusion, which I'm going to individualize this shout out to Sharon.
Oh yeah.
Because, and she works in the pharmacy department of the infusion center. And she's,
she's been helping me from day one. She's just
this angel who like gets us in to get chemo. Like on schedule or early or bumps us up.
No.
Because they weren't even supposed to give us chemo because they're idiots. So like, and so I was just so thankful.
Remember, I told you like this shit sometimes sucks. Like, so they had my schedule set for Thursday as certain things lined up, and for weeks I've been telling them, hey, you're missing things in my schedule. Like I'm supposed to have a chemo session.
Yeah.
Supposed to have a PET scan. They don't listen for weeks. And they wait till the last second to schedule. So the schedule is completely off and they don't schedule my chemo.
Yeah.
Like these motherfuckers don't schedule my chemo. So, and they're saying they're not scheduling because my liver. And I'm telling them it's going to be near range. It's going to be in range by that time. You should be okay to schedule. And so I tell them, this stuff and they still wait till the day before.
I know.
The day before Houston to finally tell me, hey, we can't get you on the day. We can't get you in for chemo on the day you're supposed to be here. So come back Saturday all the way to Houston.
Yeah.
To get treatment. I'm like, what? I've been telling you for weeks to get me this schedule, right? And so Sharon was so helpful because she works there and she was able to
Sharon's like a family friend, or she's family.
Yeah, and she was able to help facilitate and escalate my case to where I was able to get chemo that day. And you have to think, right? Like I'm coming in 6:00 in the morning. I can't eat anything because of CT scans. And then I'm supposed to be getting the PET scan right after the CT scan. I have to keep an IV in me the whole day. Mm-hmm. But now since they scheduled my PET later in the afternoon because they scheduled it last second, I have to fast. So I have to go through chemo and fast. And someone like Sharon being able to interject and being like, we're going to put chemo here and we'll get you in. You don't have to come back, another day.
Like
it's
getting us in and
it's huge.
I mean, it's huge. And it's just one of those things of like, it really does take a village.
Yeah. Yeah. People, like everyone's been so helpful. And I mean, think about just Thursday, like my parents came down.
Yeah.
Ruben was there the last week to help organize, to make sure the doctors knew what were going on.
Yeah.
My parents come down. Your mom's here today, and Sharon helping out. It's like you need.
Yeah. You people. Never know. Like,
or even work people like Nikki doing things, Michelle stepping up.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Like John being flexible with shooting. I'm like, we can't do this day because this, like we're in Houston, like, rescheduling. And he was like, did you get a chance to look at the other one for approval? I'm like, we're in Houston. I was like, I haven't looked at shit, but I trust you, like go off.
Yeah.
And he's been killing it too. Like, it's just one of those things, like we're so blessed to have a village. And I think it's one of those things, like, you always hear the saying, like, it takes a village, but you really don't know what it's like when you really need your village. And when you need it and they're here, it's like, wow, it just really makes sense. And it really is something so special and that we don't take for granted either. Like, we're so fortunate to have like great people in our lives who care about us, who care about Juju, who care about, our life enough to take the time. And it's little things. It's like friends texting, checking in. It's like, my sister getting Juju stuff like toys and coming visiting.
Even from a personal point of view, you coming to everything, right? We never say thanks to you. I never say thanks to you, right? Like,
well,
you
that's
coming
like
to every
given. But no, I mean, you're right. Like, I think there's
it's not really right. Like the amount of support you're giving and you're showing and coming to every appointment and the burden you play, like,
Stop crying.
Yeah,
but I'm so swollen from crying.
The amount of effort you show for me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just one of those things. Like, we're so fortunate. It's okay, babe.
Can we clip this or? Yeah. No, we don't have to.
We can pause it.
No, that's cool.
You want to take a break?
No.
It just is. It hits us all the time.
Yeah.
Thanks, God. Yeah.
We're gonna have to clip that. That's probably good for the video. Yeah, clip that part.
Is my mascara all over?
No.
Let me look at myself. I don't know, man. It's just one of those things. Like,
I'm just very thankful.
We're just so grateful, you know. And it's also one of those things that we didn't know if that would ever happen.
Yeah, it could have went two ways.
Like, we were in the car on the way to Houston being like, I was trying to tell Ribu this thing of like, you know, because he's like, I feel so good. Like, my body feels good. He's been walking these crazy hills that we have in our neighborhood without any shortness of breath, fatigue, anything. And
I remember at tournament, I couldn't
feel
run.
Good. Yeah. So that was your first dose.
Yeah.
At tournament. And so in the car on the way to MD Anderson, where we were like going to meet our match of what we're going to have to do, he was like, there's, you start to think like, but I'm feeling so good. I'm so nervous if the scans don't reflect how I'm feeling. Yeah. Meaning like if the scans turn up that it's spread further, or there's new growth, or there's somewhere else it's gone to another part of the body, how are you supposed to reconcile that with how you're feeling physically and mentally? And so I had to start saying like, even you can't, like, because I was worried. I think we were both like, I mean, it very well could be a bad thing of it's not working, right? So I'm like, even if it comes out bad, you still have to individually and isolate the fact that you're still feeling good. Like your body, your body, you're still feeling good. And the cancer is just doing, its own thing. And so I remember trying to come up with some way of being some positive thinking of, if it comes out bad, but your body is feeling good. I just didn't want Ribu to lose trust in how intuitive he is with his body. And sometimes, because the last time when we got the bad news of it spread, you were feeling good. Yeah. So it's kind of scary when that happens, because then you're like, well, what the hell, man? Like, I feel okay. And it's just this really weird thing of
putting a result to how you feel.
And so you kind of reason through it too. And I was so fearful that he was going to give up hope on trusting his body this time. That was like a big fear of mine, where he was going to just start doubting himself and not caring about what his body is telling him. So, going into that, we were trying to come up with all these solutions of, if it does come out bad, if it does come out like it spread, if it does come out that it didn't work and there was new growth, what we were going to do. Yeah. And I think we had gotten bad news before, so we kind of knew what we were going to do. And it kind of, we were like, we're just going to keep going. I said, no matter what, like there's always a plan. We're going to figure it out. But, in the back of our heads, we were shitting bricks, because I think we were just very, we were nervous. Yeah. And then I remember saying, like, this has to work. Like, this is a targeted, specific thing. Yeah. This has to work. And it worked. So it's crazy. And it's just been a roller coaster, thank you for wild everyone's ride.
Prayers, everyone who watches this podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, you've kind of seen, every episode has not been, you've kind of seen the roller coaster from the beginning.
Yeah, we started in January.
Like, it's not like, we started in January? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
At the studio, Chatterbox Studio, January.
I didn't know we started. I thought we started in the summer for some reason.
No, we started the first one. Was this before your surgery or after?
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't realize.
I think the first one was after your surgery.
So the amount of support y'all have shown, Val Palcaz, all the comments you write, Clara,
all
the amazing stuff you support us with, Michelle, all the times you listen to us and tell me at work.
Who I know people watch and don't comment, like the people who silently support us, we love you and we hear you too. And it I think it's so much bigger than us. It's sharing this journey of, a couple going through some really hard times.
Yeah.
And I feel like
exciting times too.
And exciting times in our life and like juggling everything. And, it was about time we had some good news.
Yeah, to share with everybody.
And this is great news. And this was like one of those things where when you get this news and you're like, wait, but I wasn't like ready to hear that news.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would be this way. I kind of like already had a picture of how it was going to be for some reason. And it wasn't like that.
It's like, you can't take this shit from me. Like this is a major win. A major
fucking win. Like this could not have happened.
Yeah.
This could have never happened. This could have taken a while. This could have gone in so many fucking directions, man. So like, this is something that can never be taken from you or us.
And we were talking about too, like, just, I don't know. We were talking about on our last episode, like the positions we've been put in, right? So we talked about my job and how random it was, and being able to see that hospice patient and feel like God has something in store for me. This is before I got my results.
Tell me about the armadillo.
And so like I was, I've always been tried to have a relationship with God, and there's been ups and downs where I'm better at it and I'm not good at it. Obviously, when you have cancer, you're trying to be great at it, right? Yeah. And so, like, it's a part that's I feel like especially in the last couple of months, where I've felt like I've been having a closer relationship with God and just trying to navigate my daily life. And not that I've seen changes that God's giving me something, but just having a clearer look. I think it says like, seek first the kingdom of God, and he'll put his understandings on your heart. Something like that. Completely wrong way I'm saying it.
I wouldn't know. I'm like, that one sounds right.
But, that's kind of been on my heart, because it's been like, if I seek him first, then I'll understand kind of what's going on. Mm-hmm. That's what I've been trying to practice the past 6 weeks. And every morning I listen to the Ribu podcast, and he suggests getting sunlight in the morning. So I'll try to wake up really early and at least walk around or run or something. And so the day before the scans, I was running around, and I was like, man, I was just kind of walking, and I was praying as I was walking. And, I was like, as I walk every morning, there's never an animal out there. And I was walking, and I know everyone who walks in the morning.
Yeah.
I go every morning, so I see everybody. This particular day when I'm walking, I'm kind of praying and just, meditating. And I see this guy and this dog walking the opposite direction I'm walking. I've never seen this guy before. Mm-hmm. So he's walking one direction, I'm walking the opposite direction, and we're just minding our own business. You do the morning wave. You're like, hey, good morning, sir. And all of a sudden, I'm just kind of praying like, God, give me some sort of sign, or like how do I know I'm okay? Because I was just so anxious for the scans the next day.
Yeah.
And I'm walking, dude, out of nowhere from my left side, an armadillo just bolts. I've never seen a motherfucking armadillo in my life. I don't even know I know what armadillo looks like.
Yeah. You're like, is that an armadillo?
And I'm like, but this is as I'm asking for some sort of thing, right? And I'm not like this superstitious guy who does, all this kind of stuff. Like, I don't do superstitious stuff really, but like this armadillo literally bolts out of nowhere. And the crazy part is I've never seen this other man, and I feel like if it was just me, I would have been like, nah, that didn't happen. The other man jumped, and his dog jumped too. Like started barking at it, and I was like, that really happened.
Yeah.
And so there's this thing that God gives you this peace that surpasses all understanding. And in a moment, I was like, how can I doubt anything that I've been going through? Right. Yeah. Like the joy I felt helping a hospice patient, or the way I got this job, or the way me and you met.
Yeah.
To have a partner to be able to get to this point, or the way your job has been set up. Right. Yeah, we talked about the last episode, like nobody's doing what you're doing, and the rarity of it to provide you the flexibility to come and join me with all this stuff. You know what I mean?
I know.
So it's like,
because it's one of those where I always say, like, when we leave for Houston at after you're done with work, we're probably leaving like 7.
Yeah.
And it's never on a weekend. It's always like, in the middle of the week, you get it on your My Chart and you're like, I guess we're going to Houston on a Tuesday. Yeah. And so I always say, like, when we're driving out, I'm like, I would never have been able to do this if I was working a traditional job, like how I was working, treating babies in the home health. And I had to, have productive days where I'm like treating patients and stuff. I was like, I would have for sure been fired by now. Even like just scheduling wise, like it's the flexibility to do that.
Even my job, I have the perfect job,
right?
To do all this stuff,
drop everything and
like
go.
the perfect job to do all this and still be able to build something.
Yeah.
Like what perfect combination to where, like, you know what I mean? Like what perfect combination could I have had of a job? Mm-hmm. That has given me great insurance. I couldn't find that.
I know that's true too.
Like all these things. That's why I'm like, man, like when I started praying more, or not praying more, but like trying to focus on my relationship with God, and it's been more eye opening because I'm like, all these things. How can I not think there's a creator or someone out there that is alive and helping us? And like even if this went, and the question could next be, what if this went the other way, Ribu? Would you still feel that way? Yes. Yeah. Like, I think I still would.
I think so too, because we have more strength together in dealing with negatives. We have more strength and experience dealing with negative stuff like than we do with good stuff. Exactly. Like we don't even know what to do with ourselves because this is finally good stuff.
Yeah.
We almost were sitting in that bad stuff this whole time. And we were starting to expect bad stuff, and we were starting to,
and we're getting stronger in our faith
with bad stuff. So I think, 100%, even if it did go the other way, it would have been even stronger. This was just such a pleasant surprise, but it was just like this really miraculous thing.
Yeah. And so that's why I hope people watching this, not only I hope you understand our journey, but you're able to put yourselves in positions to trust God in situations. Yeah,
for sure.
I feel like I feel like that. I feel like and it's not like you have. I feel like it's not like you have to be some sort of way or be this person who like talks about God every day,
or even be religious. But you have to
just I think have a relationship. Mm-hmm. I think just like if like my relationship with you or with my brother, it's somebody you talk to every day. It's somebody you
share your deepest thoughts with.
Yeah, deepest thoughts and with.
Fears
it's someone you can, communicate with when you need to communicate with.
Yeah.
And I think if you just do that once a day, I think it does change your heart.
Yeah, I think so
for the better. It's not like you have to be this.
I think that's why you
evangelist.
Sure. Go sharing everything too. It's something intimate between you and God.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you've been so unwavering in your level-headedness with all of this, I think, is because you've had an outlet where you can kind of share your thoughts with not me, with not, Ruben or your family or whatever. It's just between you and somebody bigger than you. Right. And I think that's what's given you a lot of strength, peace, because like I always say this too, along with the job thing, like thank God our jobs are the way they are for the flexibility, but like thank God you have such a strong level head with all of this, because I really do think a lot of people would fold. A lot of people would give up. A lot of people wouldn't be calling that doctor every day to stay on their ass. A lot of people would have switched doctors, or would have not even gotten into MD Anderson had you not been persistent and straightforward and used connections, like used every resource you have, right? Like using Ruben, then Ruben doing this, using me, then doing this, then getting in, then researching, like everything kind of folded into this really beautiful way of like all your strengths came into you having to use them to get to where you are.
Yeah. And I think, I learned to trust myself. But,
I think so too.
But I learned to trust myself because I have such a strong support system who enable, like we were talking about this on the drive, but I was like, man, like this is the first time where I feel like I know what the fuck I'm doing. Yeah. And it's because I have such strong people around me, including at work too, like that trust me, that give me the support to be like, do your fucking thing.
Yeah.
So how can I not feel like the baddest motherfucker around?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like either come to something I want to do in sports or something I want to do at work. Like I was built with the smarts and people nurtured me to get to this point.
Other people just see it. Like,
me not doing what I need to do and being uplifted would be a detriment to everything. The people that believe in me.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
the support you showed me or John or all these people, right? Like I have an obligation to be the best motherfucker I can be and not sit on the couch and dwell and be like, I have cancer. I have the rarest form of cancer. I have the most lethal form of cancer. Yeah. I don't give two fucks.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to be out there working 10 times harder than you are or helping people as much as I can or doing the most in the time that I have. Cause not only that, cause we have a son, right? Like, like for him to be, if this motherfucker's gonna be 6'6", he's not gonna be sitting. We don't have there's not a big ass couch out there for his lazy ass, right? Like he needs to be out there.
I think he's gonna see us.
Yeah, he needs to
grinding.
If he's gonna this is just a metaphor. If he's gonna be that tall, he has tall things to do in life.
Yeah,
he has big things to do in life, and his heart needs to be bigger than his size.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
And if we're able to display that, and our family's able to display that, like my brother and everybody, then he's going to be a great human.
Yeah,
and I feel like
so too.
That's the mindset.
And we were already talking about this too, like with your parents who they just left today. Actually, my mom came in and watched him. But like even with him, and I can't talk about it too much or I'll start crying. But like even with him, what family with a 18-month-old leaves every 6 weeks for pretty much his entire life. Even before we started going every 6 weeks, we were going to Dallas weekly.
Yeah.
Taking him. So your parents were saying something like, he's so good. He's so easy. He's so adaptable. And then I'm like, I think it's because of what he's been through where he has to acclimate to whoever's taking care of him. And stay on his routine, but if he gets off of it, he's okay too. He adjusts, and he's social, and he's charming and funny, and like all of that stuff too. But it's more so like, this is gonna be all he knows is us fighting and tackling, and advocating and stuff too. So I think it's gonna make him a very strong individual too, independent individual too, which is something I'm really proud of.
Next one's going to be spoiled as fuck.
Oh God.
Liv's not pregnant.
I'm not pregnant. But we got that good news and we're like, should we have another baby? I was like, oh my God.
That's the first thing I asked. I was like, should we have another baby?
He was like, I have some in Houston.
Y'all know I got sperm stored in Houston and Austin. Y'all telling you, $10.99. No, it's probably worth a lot more.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll tackle that later. But yeah, it's just one of those things, it hasn't been a year since you've been diagnosed.
December 1st week will be a year.
So it hasn't even been a year. And it feels like this has been the longest freaking journey of life.
32 has been rough for me.
Yeah. And,
rough. No, I shouldn't say rough. It's been a blessing.
It's been definitely a thing of growth for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy what this can do to you in terms of your mentality, in terms of your tolerance, in terms of your patience, in terms of your empathy, in terms of you not wanting to go through the bullshit. Like a lot of it for me too, just seeing you and being as resilient as you are, it shows me to be resilient too. Because I think my nature is to be like, stop everything and be sad.
Yeah.
And I think had anybody else been going through it, like another partner, I would have fallen suit. But, you never are sad. It's just a different mentality. And so
I don't know.
It's just taught me a lot, just experiencing this with you.
I think what we said at the beginning, I think our first podcast, which I've literally lived by for the whole year, has been to live in the moment, every moment.
Yeah. Yeah. That was like one of the first few episodes.
Yeah. And I've tried to remember that every time. So like when something great happens, you take this mental, I saw somebody do this, I forgot who, but you take this mental snapshot of every moment that you get.
Yeah.
Like I said, we were talking about on our podcast. I have a horrible memory. Like I would have a horrible memory.
Awful.
I couldn't remember shit of like memories in the past or like things that have went on. But this year I remember every little detail of everything, and that has let me remember things from my past.
Yeah. I think it's a response when you have something traumatic go on with you, you know, especially within yourself and your body, you start to be the world's greatest historian of that. I mean, he remembers, like, I can't keep up with, he's like, no, I got a scan in March, remember? And I'm like, no, I don't remember. And I think that's like, a traumatic response for me too. Yeah. I think his is like to be a hyper vigilant memory, and mine is to just like, there's a mental block there that I don't remember much, but thank God for yours because he just remembers like, I'll be in an appointment, like, no, you said this at, like, we're at my most recent appointment, and I don't know why I remember this, but there's this, I don't know if y'all remember from a previous episode, we were looking into doing this thing called RAI. And that's still an option to do. And I remember my very first appointment at MD Anderson, we brought up RAI, and she's like, if your tumor ever reduces to a point, then we have a chance. And she walked in, and I was like, she told me my first appointment on February this day. That I was like, it's so weird. And I was like, why do I remember that? And I was like, but I'm going to ask. And and then I asked the doctor, I'm like, hey, you know, it's reducing in size. Is RAI still an option? She's like, I never thought of that. Yeah. She didn't remember. She's like, I don't remember. I was like, but you said on my first appointment on this day, if they reduce in size, all right. She's like, it could be. She's like, yeah, we could try it. I don't see why not. And I was like, you didn't even remember, bitch. Yeah, I know. You just have this crazy, I can't keep up with it. It's just a blessing, another blessing, because you are such a good historian with your I was like, I don't know if that's God telling, because I literally can't remember. I couldn't remember shit. I know. And then I was like, maybe, and we were talking about this on the way back home from Houston about your memory. And I was like, maybe you're awake now. Like, you know, something like this forced you to wake. Not that you were not awake, but you know what I mean? Like you woke up now. Yeah. And you have to, you know, remember things and stuff. And I don't know, but it's like this crazy thing that I really was like, man, I can't wait till the day that we can tell the podcast some good news. Yeah. I think we said and that I would envision podcast, it. I was like, what would I was like, I hope I wouldn't cry. If I cry, I'm not gonna wear mascara. It's gonna be so embarrassing. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like we're here. This is it. This is real. That's how it is. Real. And we're telling our podcast that we created to help people along with any hardship they're having, or to just be like a break in their day, or like something to listen to on their drive to work. Like we're telling them now that we have good news. And like, isn't that wild? Yeah. And I'm going to keep saying it. If you're listening to it, I said it like 10 times last episode and this episode. But please, if you're listening to this, you're capable of achieving whatever you want to. Yeah. You know, if you're sick right now, I'm sorry. And you may not be getting great news right now. You might be listening to this and being like, damn, because I've had this. I listened to a podcast where the person's like, I got good news. And you're like, I haven't. Yeah. Keep fighting for good news. Yeah. Like keep fighting for good news for you or for your family, or create some sort of good news. To create it. Yeah. Even I would say the one thing through this whole time, we haven't got any good news through the cancer, but I'm blessed because God's given me the opportunity to bring good news to other people, either it be in hospice or home health. Yeah. Or I've created good news by working really hard at work or a personal thing to get a goal accomplished, either be financially with my company, with the company that I work for, close to breaking even, and how great that's been, right? Like that good news breaks up all these bad news, and it's something, it's something to feel good about. It's an esteemable action. It makes you have self-esteem and feel good about something. So like through all this bad your work news, into something. You've had great news because you've brought joy because you've worked hard to accomplish. Everyone congratulate her. She's got 3,000 followers on TikTok. 300,000. What did I say? 3,000. Oh, 300,000 followers on TikTok. That's weird too. And over 90,000 now on Instagram. But you tell them why that's weird. Yeah, because on the way home she's been waiting for 300,000 for a very long time. Yeah, I was stuck at like 292, which this is, people are like, who cares, right? But this means a lot for my career. Yeah. This means a lot for money. This means a lot to keep growing like that, right? So I was stuck at like, I don't know, 292, 293 for a while. I was getting a little burnt out with filming and that whole thing. I was just tired, it's a lot to juggle with what Rib has going on. And then you're supposed to be creative and funny and engaging on social media. So it was just very taxing and draining. And then Ribu actually showed me this video of this guy who reviews sneakers. He was like, hey, I really like how this guy formatted and filmed this video. You should try it. And I'm like, yeah, I like it too. I'll try it this way. I posted a video on that and that took off. That went viral. And that got me from like 292, 293 to maybe like 297,000 followers on TikTok. Right. And so I'm like, oh my God, I'm 3,000. My goal was to hit 300,000 followers by the end of this year.
And we were saying, so this armadillo thing happened. We were driving to Houston and we were saying, pretty much in our hearts, we were saying, God, like, give us also another sign of improvement and let Liv we were literally hoping for these things. Like, God, show us these things.
Because I think by the time we had gone to Houston on Thursday, I was at like 298K.
And you've been waiting.
I was waiting for days. And I had told myself, so the day before we left for Houston, Wednesday, I was like, I don't want to film. I'm so nervous about this damn Houston thing. I'm going to just, and I've done this in the past. Like, I don't film. I don't want to work. I just want to distract myself by doing anything but like I stop everything. And so I was very nervous on Wednesday. I was like, I don't want to film. I'll leave it alone until after we come back, whatever. And then I look at my thing and I'm like, Olivia, like, would Ribu want you not doing anything because you're nervous and scared? No, like, get your ass up, go to Target, buy all these freaking kids seats. I saw one video that inspired me to do this thing, and go fucking film it and get your ass up and go. Like, would he do this? No, he's out there working. Like, come on, get it together. And I told myself, I blasted music. I chugged a Red Bull. I was so tired because my mom was not coming a lot. So I had, be with Juji and stuff. I had 3 hours to buy everything, film, edit. And I had to go back home to Juji. And I said, this is going to be the video that's going to get me to 300,000 followers. And I just knew it. And in my head, I'm like, I'm going to fucking do this. I'm going to grind it out. And this is like for my baby. Yeah. You, not Juji. So I was like, this is for Ribu. And then I remember filming and I was like, okay. And then I remember editing and I was like, this is good. I started doubting myself. I was like, this is not funny, or this isn't gonna, whatever. And I posted, I'm like, whatever. Anyway, that gets over 500,000 views. Yeah. And that got me to 290.
We're just waiting.
9,000 followers.
And like, guys, remember, we've been waiting for this for months.
Yeah. And so anyway, then I post another one, a part 2 that got me to 299.7 or something, just growing. And I'm like, oh man. So we're on the way back from Houston after the day,
you're talking about after we get the results. Mm-hmm. So after we get the results, we were like, this would be insane if you get 300, what we've been waiting for. 300 300 on TikTok and 90 on Instagram.
Yeah, because I was at like 88.9. Yeah,
and we were just talking about on the ride there. Like,
I was like, that would be great, but obvious, like whatever. I didn't think it, because sometimes it'll just linger it doesn't, it doesn't go. And so we're just reeling the whole day. I'm not looking at my TikTok. And then on the way back, we got our McDonald's because that was the only thing that was open. We're eating. I'm like, I don't want to edit I had one more video to post. Rib was like, you better edit that video and post it. You want to get to 300,000 or not? So I post it, whatever. I forget I'm talking to Rib. It's been a couple of hours and I open it and I hit 300,000. And 90,000
at the same time.
Same time. Yeah. on TikTok and Instagram. And so that was like one of the best days because it's like awesome. It felt like a little superfluous compared to the news that we had with you. Like it felt like not as big of a deal, but that's okay. I think that's what it needed to be. You know, it was just like a good feeling along with the other great news we had about you.
That's awesome. I mean, you can't beat that joy. And that's why it's important to live in the moment because you can, what is it? What did they say? Something is the thief of joy.
Comparison?
I don't know what I was going to That's not the phrase I was looking for.
Well, and then but all that to say is like, it seems superfluous.
What does that mean?
Just like, it doesn't matter. It seems silly to think, 300,000. But I trust me, I'm the first to think it's not to downplay it. Yeah. As you know, I'm sure John's like, knows that too. Like, I'm like, no, it's no big deal, whatever. But I had to think, I'm like, it took, like I was depressed the majority of this year because my husband has cancer to smile and film and to push through it, to continue to grow, helping my community of moms feel confident. Yep. And that's my purpose. That is more defined because you had what you're going through gave me more strength and gave me more clarity in my purpose. That's the physical representation of like my work, your work with me, with my manager, all of that stuff. So it's just like a representation of how we both like.
You created a space for yourself that no one has done and you're making a living off of it. Like think about like, that's insane, right? Like you created a job for yourself with the time you want.
Yeah.
And are getting paid for that, which allows you to help me.
Yeah. It's just so full circle. Yeah. Cause I think, the first, when I hit 100,000 or 200,000, you did not have cancer at that time. So it was just like, oh, good. It was almost very easy to film content. It was before I had Julian. Yeah. It was before I had like any responsibilities. My only thing was to film. I think I was still working at the time. I hadn't like retired yet. Yeah. But now it's like, no, I was at 200,000, I think, and some change when Julian was born. So like I was a new mom with, that stress, and then with your stuff, and then and I remember I didn't want to continue, and you were like, "You're gonna freaking continue. Yeah. What are you doing?" I was like, no, I'm going to put all my time and effort into helping and supporting you. And he's like, you are going to do it. So it's just like this representation of how you supported me, I supported you, and us like growing together. And it's like, it feels really freaking good. Yeah. It just feels so much more sweeter with all that went into it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I'm just grateful for everyone involved too. And all your followers grateful. And I don't know.
Yeah. I think so too. So anyways, what's next?
There's no pit.
There's no pit this week.
There can't be.
There can't be a pit. He was like, if you get in the mood and bring me down, I will literally divorce you. I was
like, do not get in the mood.
Nobody say anything bad. Like, I'm just riding this wave of joy. I said, absolutely.
There's nothing that can bring me down.
No.
Even if what happens 10 years from now, like you can't take away
this one thing. Yeah. Right. It's crazy that I got it on video. I don't know if I would share it, but watching it back makes you cry instantly.
Yeah. Cause it's like in the moment, I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. Like I didn't even, I thought you were just going to record audio. I didn't know you were recording video.
Well, I recorded audio. I literally just had my phone down because I don't want to hold the phone in front of the doctor's face. I was literally just trying to get audio. Yeah. So I had audio. The phone was down on the chair until she was like, I got your scans. And you were like, what? And I was like, like, we're going to record this. Yeah. And so then I recorded it. It's not good quality. Yeah, but I'm like shaking, like I'm like crying, shaking.
But but I got it. Me being like, what the heck?
You're like, what? Can you show me more?
I was like, can you tell me more? Like, what do you mean? Like, it's better.
Yeah. Yeah, I got all of that.
Because I expected her to be like, oh, just one part better. But she was like,
she was so excited. Like if you were to watch it, you could tell how excited she was. Yeah. Which made, obviously us excited.
Yeah.
And I got her showing you the scans on the computer. And everything. So it was just a good couple of days. We're going to keep riding it until forever.
It's not a ride. This is.
Yeah.
We're at our destination. This is where we live at.
I know. That's crazy, huh? Crazy. We're so happy.
Awesome. Yeah.
Anyways, guys.
All right.
So no pit today. This was a special episode. If this is the first time watching, because I told you to watch this episode. If you're going to watch any episode, go back and watch the other episodes. We had some funny ones. Some really funny episodes.
Before
the past two, were really funny. And huge. We talk about all sorts of stuff. So we'll be back. This sounds very final too. Like, well, that's it. We got good news. We're saying bye to the podcast, but we'll keep going with it for sure. There's going to be plenty more to talk about.
Share. If you don't comment on this one, which other one would you comment on?
You better freaking comment. Yeah. You better say something. Last episode, we asked them to comment something too, but I don't remember. Anyway, so we hope y'all have a great week and stay blessed.
Yep.
And we'll catch you next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us at the C Word Chronicles podcast. This is Olivia and Ribu. We're fucking excited. We love you so much. Bye. We interrupt the podcast for today's sponsor. Hey, podcast fam, it's time to level up your work from home game. Introducing ErgoSpace Store, your go-to destination for ergonomic office chairs that blend comfort and style. Whether you're a remote worker or creative genius, their Duo 5 black frame chair is a game changer.
Experience the perfect balance of support and relaxation. Head over to ergospacestore.com, browse their collection, and create your dream office setup. Your back and my back deserve the best, and Ergo Space Store delivers. Elevate your work experience today. Use the code CWordChronicles for $50 off your order.